So Israel again went down into Egypt, and they began to take on that culture. They began to embrace that culture. They began to worship the same mighty ones that the other ones worshiped. Again, they dressed like the Egyptians. They talked like the Egyptians. They did everything pretty much the Egyptians was doing. And as a result of that, again, they even had mixed multitude. They married into the Egyptian families. And as a result of that, I'm sure, like today, they lost their identity and began to forget who they were as a people. They forgot their mighty one, Yah. And so I believe the scriptures teaching that they were sold into bondage by their, Yah allowed their enemy, again, to take them into bondage. Cruel bondage. For the purpose of purging them as a people,
Right.
and establishing that he has a people, and he is the mighty one of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov.
Who fights for his people.
Who fights for his people.
Right.
So he allowed Israel to go into captivity. Now, notice what it says. We go down in the scripture here. That he was concerned. Let's read, continue reading. I think you stopped at verse 13. The Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick, and all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one is Shiphrah, the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then you shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared Elohim, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, why have you done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said to Pharaoh or Paro, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore Elohim dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very greatly. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Elohim, that he made them houses. And Paro charged all his people, saying, every son that is born you shall cast in the river, and every daughter you shall save alive.
Now we talking about similarities. Talking about similar, what happened to the fathers happens to the children.
Yes.
There is a pattern that Yah has set. Again, our Messiah Yahshua, the same thing happened to him.
Yeah, Manuel, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, it's lots of similarities between that one, because as we can see today, that it seems like it's a system set up trying to destroy the Hebrew males or the black men. And as we saw in the scriptures in Exodus, that the Pharaoh also told the midwives to get rid of all the Hebrew males that are born, and the females to save alive. And we can see that the system that they have set up now, they have it set up whereas especially the black males can't find a job. They can't. It's hard for them to get welfare and things like that. And it's more set up towards the women. It's more set up where they get most of the support and everything.
That's a very good point. Even again, we were talking about Willie Lynch, and the Willie Lynch letter, how he said when we first came over here, the woman was so dependent on the man, and they knew their roles. He said we got to reverse the roles, make the men physically strong, but mentally weak.
Yeah,
and take the women who are naturally weaker and make them naturally strong. I mean, mentally strong.
Right.
Make them independent of this man. So that's why you have a perpetuation of I'm an independent woman, definitely among our people. You're familiar with Destiny's Child song, independent women. We don't need a man. We don't. get in his face. You ain't nobody. You ain't nothing. I can provide on my own. And so, and you see the similarity. Do whatever you. In Willie Lynch's letter, he said we must make this man mentally weak. And how we keep them, and he said then we must lock them into that state by make him mentally weak, but only negotiate with the woman.
Yeah.
Let's only negotiate with her on her terms, how she wanted, and then she'll keep coming back to us, and she will not need that man that was originally made for her. And so it's fair all over again.
It's fair all
the
over
man, however you can destroy him, whether it's prison, whether it's not allowing him to eat through unemployment,
Yes.
whatever avenue.
What about abortions? I mean, abortions, by the way, Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, they created Planned Parenthood to pretty much destroy the black community because we were growing, we were multiplying. You see, and so, you know, this is a systematic kill the males. Now, we know that Pharaoh was saying this because he's a picture of Satan, Ha-Satan, the enemy of our souls, and what he was trying to do is cut off the Messiah.
It's funny you say that. I got to interject again. If you type in, or you could Google it, was it the FBI? One of their #1 plans, they said prevent by any means the rise of a black Messiah. Google it. Google it. Just Google it. I didn't make this. He didn't make this. You didn't make it. Just Google it.
Yeah.
By any means, we got to prevent the rise of a black Messiah. You begin seeing.
And why that terminology, Messiah?
Why a black Messiah?
The word Messiah is a term that Israel uses. It's a term that's associated with the nation of Israel.
A Moshiach.
A Mashiach, right? A Messiah, okay? A deliverer. Okay, and so how is that terminology? I know really of no other people where that terminology is really applied to, but to us, said to try to stop the rise of a black Messiah. But you know now, so
I'm sorry, that was doing when they were knocking off Malcolm X's and knocking out the Martins and all the other people who began to ask these questions and say, hey, who are we?
Right.
Who are we? We did not come as Christians first. Just who are we? We want to know that first. What was our name? Who were? What did we do?
And the thing about that is that I want to say this, make this clear here too. We don't promote any of those programs or ideas that were promoted in the past or suggested in the past from our people. We don't promote the ideas that Martin Luther King was promoting. Okay, that Malcolm X was promoting.
Right.
Okay, that the Black Panthers were promoting. Okay, all these ideas, they don't work.
And we'll get to why not.
We'll get to why not. But they simply don't work. There's only one solution to our problem.
Right. Anything else
is bound to fail.
Suicide.
It's suicide. It's bound to fail.
We took up arms. We fought. We marched. We did everything.
Now how do you take up arms against, again, now watch this. What happened to the fathers, happened to the sons. You notice that Israel down here, we reading here, our fathers was in captivity.
Right.
They were in bondage. They were in bondage to the most powerful nation on the planet at that time.
Right.
So in terms of technology, okay, the technology was against Israel because at that time Pharaoh had modern technology was chariots, right? He had, you know, they had a massive army with spears and shields and bowmen and all these things, right? And Israel was, what did they have? They had nothing.
Staffs.
So today we want to take on arms and we're going to defeat the white man. That is insane.
So we're going to march up there, right?
And buy guns from your enemy, which will be like used old guns, right?
Right.
Then when you run out of ammunition, you got to go and try to get ammunition from them, right? And while you fighting with guns, you know, there's so many ways in which we can be destroyed, right? Chemical warfare, biological warfare, bombs, tanks. There's so many different ways that there's no way that we can take up arms. That is a suicidal mission.
That is pure foolishness. That is pure foolishness, and we're going. That's why we're going to get there
to the solution.
To the solution is not to try to fight the white man or the whoever man, because that battle does not belong to you.
No.
It belongs to Yah.
To Yah alone.
Whoever vengeance is mine, says
I
Yahweh,
will repay,
I will repay.
says Yah.
So all this, beat the white man and pull a Nat Turner, that's suicide. Suicide on you and our